Welcome to CyberCEO, wherein we talk about how our cyberbackers helped our cyber CEOs take their businesses to the next level. CyberCEO is powered by Cyberbacker, the world's leading provider of admin support services from anywhere in the world to anyone in the world. Please visit our website www.cyberbacker.com for more details. All right, another awesome day here at Cyberbacker. My name is Jello. We're back with another episode of CyberCEO. And of course, we are very lucky to have a very special guest on the show right now. Lance, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Really good.
All right, that's very good to hear. And of course, we appreciate you being on the show. I know you're very, very busy. So let's get the show on the road. We have a lot of listeners who are also business owners just like you. So help us out here, Lance. Can you introduce yourself to our audience? Maybe let's start off with, what is your role in the business?
Sure. My name is 𝗙𝗃𝗃. I am the CFO, and I oversee financial operations for 3 market centers in my area, in my region. My ownership group also owns an additional 7 locations. And so I do some consulting on those. I'm a business coach, so I have a coaching company. And so I've been in my industry with Keller Williams for 10 years. So I've been doing this a long time. We have about 1,300 agents underneath our umbrella. So lots to do.
Wow. I can only imagine what your calendar looks like. Busy every day, I guess.
Busy every day. Yes, sir.
No, busy is always good, though. So I also know for a fact that you have a cyberbacker supporting you in the business, correct?
Correct.
Yes. How long have you been working with your very own cyberbacker?
I think for maybe 5 or 6 months.
5 or 6 months. Okay. Now, before you had your cyberbacker supporting you, though, did you have experience working with other remote team members?
We didn't have any virtual assistants or anything like that. Nobody virtually, no.
So first time then, let me ask, how's the experience going so far with your very own cyberbacker?
It's been great. It's been good. Our cyberbacker's a real good guy. We like him a lot. He's getting some results for us. Definitely a hard worker, probably the hardest worker I have on my staff. And so for us, the challenges have been not in our cyberbacker's activity and what he does, but more in supporting him and building the systems around him. It's like having a nice new shiny tool that you've never used before, and now you got to build the systems and figure out how to use it.
Of course. Having an accountability partner to make sure that nothing really falls through the cracks. Now,
sure.
Before partnering with Cyberbacker, how much time did you spend working on a weekly basis? Did your Cyberbacker help you lessen that?
Yeah, and it was more about, his role was not necessarily about freeing up time, but about getting to the things that we know we weren't getting to. So it was less about kind of like capturing more time, but there were obviously a bunch of things that there were phone calls we weren't making. There was follow-up we weren't doing at a high level. And so he allows us to get the things done that we know need to get done.
Now, of course, there are a lot of things that need to be done in a daily basis, but you don't have the time to do them. So let your cyberbacker do that then. Now,
exactly.
Before you had your cyberbacker working with you, did you ever believe in the idea of virtual leverage?
Well, there was probably some type of stigma of like, you have to be in the office. And obviously through COVID, that changed a little bit. And we've in different types of cyber related or virtual team members that, as long as you kind of build the system around them and build the system around their strengths, then it tends to work pretty well. At least we're seeing some pretty good results currently.
Of course. Now, when was the turning point when you really thought that, hey, I really need the leverage? We need to try this virtual leverage piece out.
Well, truthfully, it was because we weren't finding any good talent in our community. And it wasn't probably because of not good talent. It's just for whatever reason, we had a need. We needed to kind of fill that need, and we didn't have anybody that we thought was a good fit. It seems to be that the Cyberbacker folks already had somebody or a group of people that were qualified, that were willing, which is important, especially in this role, and that weren't afraid, to hear no a few times or to work really hard to kind of accomplish a goal. And so we just didn't find that in our 3-foot circle. So it was a little bit out of necessity for looking for some good talent and a little bit out of trying something new.
How were you introduced to Cyberbacker, by the way? How did you know about us?
My coach has a Cyberbacker, and I have another agent here who has a Cyberbacker, who's another coach. So kind of more from the coaching community.
Okay, so from the coaching community. Now, I'd like to know more about your cyberbacker currently. What are the things that he does for you in the business that really help you grow the business?
Well, he's more of a cyber recruiter, right? So he's making phone calls every day, lots of follow up, lots of updating spreadsheets. So for him, it's a lot of the follow up, the communication, the systems what Cyberbacker has and the communication that he has are probably the best I've ever seen. And so I really appreciate like his systems of communication, the follow up, the accountability they have, the community they have within the Cyberbacker guys, because he learns probably as much from the Cyberbacker folks as he does from our staff here. And so that's value, that we probably wouldn't be able to offer otherwise. And he's a hard worker. So, he outworks us all.
Now, of course, here in Cyberbacker, one of the core values is relationship. So each Cyberbacker would help one another. So don't worry about that. We got them. We got their backs as well. Now, how about some of the new things that you're planning to have your Cyberbacker do in the future? Because his growth is not going to stop.
Good question. I think for us, it's probably going deeper. Let him own a few more things. He's refining his scripts and getting tighter, and his conversion rates are getting better. And so as that happens, then we may, like I said, we have 1,200 agents in our territory. So the pool of agents to recruit is pretty high. And so I think it's about kind of expanding. He's currently hubbed out of my primary market center that has 400 agents. And so giving him more of, lead gen pool to pull from, I think will be, have some value. Maybe even getting into the already in production agents, maybe it could be an opportunity for him. So there's definitely some opportunity for him to branch out and, have some more successes.
That's very exciting, of course, because more things for him to do, more opportunities for growth. And my next question is still something related to growth. Now, did your goals increase with your Cyberbacker, and why?
I don't know that they actually increased. What we did is we just held them to a higher account. In a market center of this size, you have big goals. And so what it does is it allows us kind of the tools and resources to kind of accomplish the goal, maybe even easier, maybe even more inexpensive than we normally would. Like I said, it's not that we are doing something drastically different. It's that now we have a new tool to do it with. So I can hammer that nail in with an old hammer, or now I have a new shiny hammer that really hammers it in really well. So I think the goal is about the same. It just seems like we're accomplishing it pretty efficiently. And we've had some, especially in the our recent career seminars, and which is kind of our big hub for the week, we've had some really good numbers. So it seems to be that even in the very short term, like we're already in the most recent times, we're having some good results.
Of course, that's awesome news for us, of course, that you are having great results with your current Cyberbacker. Now, my next question is a bit tough. Did you have any challenges working with Cyberbacker, or let's call them opportunities for growth?
One of the biggest challenges was the I don't even want to say language barrier, because it's really not about language. It's just about maybe the communication. And for us, it was about getting familiar with the communication styles and setting him up with appointments and and conversations where he could really, excel. So we just it took us a little bit to figure out how to use that tool, the best we could. But it seems to be working pretty good.
All right. That's good to know. Everything is running smoothly right now then.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Now, one last question for you, Lance. Again, as I mentioned earlier, there are a lot of business owners listening to us right now. What piece of advice would you be able to give them when they're hiring their very first Cyberbacker?
I would have really clear expectations and have good feedback and communication with your Cyberbacker, which is, tough for, maybe a really busy person, a really busy leader. So good communication, good feedback. I've had a couple really candid conversations with our Cyberbacker, and he's been very receptive, and it's been good. Really good.
Build on that relationship then. Now, by the way, forgot to tell you, your Cyberbacker is listening to us right now, Axel. So would you want to give him a quick shout out or any message you'd like to give to him on the show right now?
Let's see, Axel. We got to talk about what the next shows we're going to watch. Okay, we're big at TV folks, so we got to talk about what our next show is. So Axel's awesome for sure.
We are very excited to see where this partnership between you and Axel would be in the next few months and, of course, the years to come. Thank you very much for being on the show today, Lance.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for listening to our daily dose of CyberCEO. Stay tuned to know more about how Cyberbacker creates a difference in this digital time and age. You can visit our website www.cyberbacker.com and follow our social media pages on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Spotify.